Hello and welcome. I'm Mark Hopp. Thanks for tuning in. You are watching the Special Olympics Chicago. We play a lot of sports here. We just did like floor hockey skills teams, volleyball team skills, and soccer. I actually did good at volleyball. My team won second place. We didn't do soccer because we got rained out. We had over 400 athletes came out and tried their best. Wow, that's a lot of athletes. Right now, I want to welcome Pam Munizzi. She works for the Special Children's Charity and the CPS board. Pam, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, can you tell our viewers what your job is actually that you do?
My title officially is the Special Olympics Coordinator for Chicago Public Schools. I came on board in September to work with the coaches and the athletes and the teachers and the parents and all the people that participate in the Chicago Public School end of Special Olympics, because as you know, we have participants that come from the Park District as well as other agencies. So I'm with the public schools doing that now.
Now, how long have you been doing this?
I've been involved in Special Olympics for 20 years. In 1992, I was an acting director for the Park District's program. I was working at the parks at the time and was there for about a year and a half until they appointed someone new. When I left there, then I got involved in Special Children's Charities. That being the fundraising arm for Special Olympics, I started off as a board member and then became the secretary treasurer, the vice president, then the executive vice president, and finally the president of Special Children's Charities.
Now, what do you like so far?
I like it all. I love working with the athletes. I love working with the coaches. I love working with the sponsors, the people that help support our program so that we can help over 5,000 athletes in the city of Chicago participate.
Now, you lived in Chicago
all my life. I've lived in Chicago forever and ever. And I love it. And I love the way the city of Chicago embraces programs like Special Olympics. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, you always do something in the summer, like you help out like a carnival.
I work in my local parish as well. We have an annual celebration on August 15th every year. And I love the fact that in working there, I get a couple of you guys to help volunteer as well. So that's a lot of fun because you have to be part of your community in one way or another. You can be an athlete. You can help volunteer with a local food pantry if they need help. You can volunteer at your own school. You can work with the elderly. Anything you can do to help make somebody's life better is always a nice, rewarding thing, and it's a lot of fun.
Now, do you have any advice for all the special needs kids who wants to join?
Get involved. There's a million ways that you can get involved. If you're still in school and you're a student, by all means, reach out to me. If you're in the public school, if you're older and you're not in school anymore, you certainly can go to the Chicago Park District. They are the best at putting it together and being able to get athletes involved. You don't necessarily have to come as a whole team. You can come as an individual and eventually join a team and be part of a team. If you're with the other agencies, the social service agencies, and you want to be a member, reach out to them. We have so many wonderful opportunities for athletes that range from 8 years old and up. And at one time, I think our oldest athlete was 82 years old, if you can believe that. And that's kind of exciting that up until you're 82, you can still compete. You know, you make lifelong friends with this. You know, when you compete in some of the events, you go to the parks and you see Charlie or Tommy or somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, but you're still friends. Even though you're competitors, you're still friends because you're all there for the same reason, to have a good time, to be good at your sport, to make friends, to have fun.
Now, it's a good thing you said something about being there from when you're 8 and up. I have actually had a nephew that started coming.
How old is he?
He just turned 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
And he started competing in track and field.
Very cool.
and he did good.
Very cool.
He actually got first place in the 50-meter run.
Wonderful.
So he went down to Bloomington.
Very good. It's great that he gets involved. I don't know if athletes know that when you compete at the local level, you compete for your school or your park or your agency. If you win, you go on to compete at state games if you win first place. If you win, you go on to play at the national level against other states. If you win, you go out to the international games where you get to compete from other countries. And how amazing is that to think that you could play an event that you're good at in another country. Some of the other countries that have hosted this in the past were Ireland, China, I think Korea or somebody might be doing it coming up, I'm not real sure, but how fascinating that you get the chance to meet and compete against kids all over the world. I think that's fascinating. Some people never get to go all over the world. So this is a wonderful opportunity for athletes. Get involved, get involved, get involved.
Now with me, I've been doing this for 10 years.
Okay.
And I like doing it.
How could you not like doing it? You have fun, you're good at it, right? You practice because you have to practice in order to compete. And in practicing, you get to improve each time you play. Again, you get different teammates, you get to help your teammates, they get to help you. It's really kind of a fascinating operation.
My saying is practice makes perfect.
It does. And hopefully we'll all be perfect someday, but in the meantime, you have to practice, 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 and that's how you'll get better. So it's a lot of fun. Are you coming to spring games this year?
Yes, I am.
Every year, I don't know if people know this, every year spring games is our biggest event in Chicago. And we have several thousand athletes to come to that, but we do the kickoff the first day, which is opening ceremonies, where we do the lighting of the torch, and we do the parade of athletes at Soldier Field. Soldier Field was where the first Special Olympics began in 1968, 44 years ago. So in wanting to keep going home is what we call it, because you get to go there and kick off the ceremony. We have some guest speakers that come, but how fun is it when you're walking in and you see your park or your picture up on that Jumbotron at Soldier Field? That's pretty awesome, isn't it?
It's amazing.
It is. So we do that to get our athletes involved and to get the support revved up for the competitions. Then the next 3 days we go to Eckersall Stadium, where they have the various events for people to participate, and it's an ongoing. There's the competitions, they have a couple of inflatable rides, there's lunches, there's souvenirs. We really make it a fun festival event and competition. So will you be out there this year?
Yes, I will.
Okay, and I encourage everybody else to be out there this year too.
And, track and field is one of my best events, but my all-time event is basketball.
Really? Wow, basketball's coming up next, right after the first of the year. So we'll have to see how good some of that goes in January.
Because I used to play basketball in grammar school.
Oh, for your school or for Special Olympics?
For my school.
Oh.
I've never heard of the program until I was in high school.
Oh, very good. Well, now we're going to tell everybody about the program. We're going to reach out to every school. There's over 500 schools in the Chicago public school system. We're going to reach out to every school and let every coach know that however we can help to get them involved, we're going to do that. If they have 2 athletes or 200 athletes, we want to get them involved. Our goal at public school is to have more, like I told you. We want more athletes, we want more coaches, we want more participation, and we want athletes that are already in the program to be able to participate in more athletic events. Special Olympics offers over 30 events in the city of Chicago. Most schools do just track and field. We're going to try to open it up a little bit and get them more involved in different activities. As you know, because you've competed, bocce ball is so much fun. But there's bowling and basketball, volleyball, swimming, gymnastics. There's so many wonderful things that the athletes can participate in, and that's what we want to encourage. It's not just track and field. There's so much more that they can do.
Now, since you said bocce ball, I actually got first place in bocce ball.
And what does that mean?
I go to Bloomington next summer.
Very cool. See how fun that is? But you got to practice in the meantime now so that you come home with a state medal too. That would be very exciting.
I know.
Do you have a lot of medals at home?
Over 50.
50 medals. Do you have them displayed nicely?
In a picture frame my grandpa made.
Very nice. Well, we know that most athletes that participate, when they do well and they practice, they get a medal, and those medals are so exciting to receive, and your families are so proud, and then your neighbors are so proud, and your school or your park, everybody that works with you is so proud to see you participate in those events. So it's kind of nice when an athlete, even after the event, wears their medal to some other event to show everyone that they did in fact get that medal. I was at floor hockey over the weekend and was able to see, it was a state competition up at Northeastern Illinois University, and they wound up, the athletes that had the medals were just showing them right in my face, like they wanted me to see every single medal that they ever got, and it's really so exciting because the athletes are so proud at the feats that they've accomplished, and they really have. It's an exciting thing.
I know, to all my fellow athletes, I wanted to congratulate them for hard work. Well done.
Sure, they do a good job, and they do a good job because the coaches are there to take them to practice and make sure that they get their practice in. Their parents assist in getting them there. We have MedFest coming up, and that's December 6th. So this, I don't know if the show will air before or after it, but with MedFest, it's an opportunity to get athletes involved that wouldn't have the opportunity, because to compete, you have to have a medical exam that's approved by the official doctors so that you're eligible to compete physically in the events. MedFest is a wonderful thing that was put together with Howard Pizer and the Chicago White Sox, believe it or not, who had the vision to see that there was an obstacle in preventing athletes from participating. That obstacle was the medical exams, because people either couldn't afford it or parents couldn't get their child to the doctor to get that medical. So through the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Bulls, they donate the United Center to us. They have Advocate Healthcare is the volunteer company that comes with the doctors and nurses, and they do all the pre-screening for all the athletes. There's thousands of athletes that come to the United Center in order to get that clearance so that they can compete in all of our games. It's truly a wonderful, wonderful operation for the athletes that compete in Special Olympics.
Okay, now, can you, for the Special Children's Charity, can you explain today to our viewers?
Special Children's Charities was founded in 1968-69, right after Special Olympics began. Ann Burke, who's now Justice Ann Burke, was a Park District instructor who had this vision to put a program together to help people with special needs. With the Kennedy Foundation and Eunice Kennedy Shriver, they were able to get the funding to do it. So the Kennedy family was involved with Special Olympics as well. Special Children's Charities started with founders whose names I'm not going to remember them all, and I apologize. Jack McHugh, the late Stanley Harrison. There were so many local businessmen who had the vision to create an organization that would financially support the Special Olympics quest. So Special Children's Charities does a couple of fundraisers every year that they do to raise money to support the Special Olympics program. We have, we support the athletes with, sometimes it's uniforms, sometimes it's equipment. Mostly it's transportation, getting the athletes from their school or their park to the various competitions. But we're able to support the athletes in whatever they need in order for them to be able to compete. So that's what the charity's role and goal still is today. And many, many moons ago, thank God somebody had the vision to see the need for this. Because now we sponsor events, or I shouldn't say, we're the beneficiaries of events like the Chicago Marathon, one of the beneficiaries, but our biggest event is the Polar Plunge. And the Chicago Polar Plunge is always held in the first Sunday in March. Some days it's 60 degrees, some days it's 20 degrees. Some days the water is warmer than the air because of the weather. Sometimes the snow's been going sideways because the weather's so brutal out on North Avenue Beach. But it is genuinely a fun event. Some of the people come dressed in costume. We have costume contests, and people are very creative in what they do for costumes. And we also give out prizes for most money raised and stuff. And our current president, Jen Kramer, has been the #1 fundraiser for at least 5 years that I can remember that she's been jumping in the polar plunge. So there's people committed to special children's charities across the board, and everybody helps as best they can.
That's cool. So now, Pam, I would like to thank you for coming on the show and sharing us your thoughts and what you do for the Special Olympics Children's Charities.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much.
Until next time, stay tuned. We're going to have a very special guest come on the show. Again, my name is Mark Kopp. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back, Special Olympics. I'm your host, Mark Kopp. At this time, I would like to introduce one of the best Sox players of all time, Mr. Ron Kittle. I've been his fan for longer than I can remember. Mr. Kittle, thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks, Mark. It's my pleasure being here. And we met many years ago, and we always have a lot of fun talking, sharing things. And I'm still glad you're a White Sox fan.
I've been a White Sox fan all my life, like I told you when I met you.
Well, you know, being growing up in Gary, Indiana, that I did, I didn't really pick a favorite team. I picked baseball. I liked it. I watched as much as I possibly could, but I liked being outside playing, having fun with my friends, entertaining. And when the street lights came on, I went home and did my homework and went back to bed and did it again the next day.
I did the same thing. As soon as the street lights come in, wash up, do my homework, and go to bed, do it all over again.
You were at my house. You didn't even know that. But, no, like I said, you grow up in the Midwest. You have family values. You have good friends. You do many different things. You try things, and I know you did. And I was just lucky enough to play baseball for a living, playing locally for the Chicago White Sox. You know, every team is my favorite that I played for. I played for a couple other teams. Putting on a uniform and competing and meeting good people is the fun part.
Now, I heard you actually did a book. Is that true?
I wrote a book. I'm the only guy, and there it is, Tales from the White Sox Dugout. I'm the only guy in the country who wrote a book that never read a book. And the funny thing is, I'm working on book 2 right now. So, and it's just stories about growing up with my dad, my family, my friends, the minor leagues, the major leagues, working hard. This one here talks about my charity, my upbringing, you know, getting to the baseball where I broke my neck and I was paralyzed and getting a second chance in life to play again. And I don't take anything for granted. I work hard. I will never, ever let anybody outwork me. And that's a promise. Everybody knows me, knows that'll happen, and I'm very picky about people I hang around with. I don't hang around the trouble people. I try to do good things, and I was asked many, many years ago to be involved with Special Olympics, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm with you today.
Good thing you said that. Now, how long have you known that you wanted to be like in the Special Olympics helping out?
Well, I mentioned a story earlier when I was helping out at a bowling alley, and there were some special needs children there that needed my help, and they would bowl, and they were horrible bowlers, but I was working the pins, and I would knock the pins over for them all the time and give them strikes. So I got to teach them how to play baseball, do all these other fun things. But you know, when you're in the minor leagues and you're traveling all around the country, there's a lot of great organizations, a lot of great charities, and you can only give a little bit when you're playing because you got to focus on your career. But now that I'm retired, well, I can't say I'm retired, I'm busier now, I try to get involved with some good people to help out as much as I can. So I spread myself thin, but I like to, do what I possibly can to make it a little bit stronger, vocal, big mouth, big guy, make it heard.
Now, do you have any, advice to give to people and athletes who wants to play baseball like you do?
Well, you have a better chance to be a dean of a university than you do play professional sports. It's that hard. You have to have a gift, and you also have to have talent, desire, passion, and that's one thing that I've seen with the Special Olympians over the years. If the Major League Baseball players and football and basketball players had the same size desire, passion, and heart as some of the Special Olympians that I've met, they would even be the best of the world. But you can only do so much. You got to stay healthy, and you have to surround yourself with good people. And when you hang around good people, you become a better person yourself. There's some people who donate to charities quietly, and you never hear about them. Some people do it sharing their time, and sometimes money's easier to give than my time. But I like doing things. I encourage people to follow their dream. If they want to do something, try it. This is how this production studio is being started. It's giving them a test to see if they like it. They may not. They might like it today, tomorrow they might not. But that's a choice that we get, and that's a passion that we have to establish.
It's good that you said that, because I've been, like I said before, I was in this program for 10 years, and I wanted to see what would happen if when I liked it, when I first started. Do you have any advice to me to get out there and meet other people?
Well, in the media world, what you're doing today as the interviewer, you have to be natural. You have to enjoy it. You don't have to know everything about somebody's life to do a good story, but you have to have bullet points. I call it bullet points, fun things. I play for the Sox. I'm good looking. No, I just do. It's nice to know, and I have my own charity that I've done for 23 years too for cancer. So there's great causes, but to do a good job, you have to be honest and focused on that person at that single time. You can't be focusing about something else. You got to focus on Ron Kittle, or somebody else, who your next guest is, what you're doing, and you have to make it natural, like you're just having a one-on-one conversation and there's no cameras around. You have to make it fun.
Now, can you explain all your hard work in your book?
Well, the hard work that I did is I was given a piece of paper that said you're an apprentice iron worker out of high school. Most of my friends got money, cars. I went working in the steel mills. So I went from a 185-pound kid to 245 pounds of muscle. And I understood what hard work was. I saw my dad work extremely hard his whole life to give the 6 kids in the family everything they wanted. We were not deprived of anything, but we had to earn it. And I just like working. I'd rather dig a hole and plant a tree than I would go sit and watch a baseball game or a football game. I just like working. I like staying busy. Media is very strong. I believe the rapport that I have with newscasters and the marketing media is because I was honest. I tell it as it is. If you don't like to hear it, don't ask me a question. And the book kind of just brings about who Ron Kittle is. I was lucky to play baseball, but I don't think it would have got to this point if I didn't break my neck and I was out of baseball. So sometimes you have to fail before you do good. So you got to make your mistakes, and when those mistakes are made, you learn from them and move on in life. And that's what that book's all about.
Good thing you said that, because last year I ended up breaking my foot. Last year I was out of competition for like 3 months. I couldn't do bowling, I couldn't do track and field, I couldn't do powerlifting or softball. But when the softball tournament came, I was still at the tournament cheering my team on.
And that's the important thing right there is, you know, you can either get upset and not show out there and show your support as a good teammate. You went out there and cheered them on. And that's what we need. Not everybody can be a hero. You know that. You know, you need to fail a lot, but it's part of life. You have to go through your stages and you learn from them. And if you, I like taking notes. I have a great memory, so I can tell you things in detail. I can tell you outfits my school teachers wore when I was in grade school and their names and classmates. Don't ask me why, I just do. But when you meet good people in life, you remember those guys. I remember you when I first met you. You come up, you don't even remember giving me a hug, but I do. And but that's the love that you get to meet people when you're honest. You know, you don't want to hug somebody who you're scared of. You know, you want to hug somebody who you feel comfortable with.
See, when you said that, I wasn't even scared to meet new people.
Well, you're not scared. You're nervous. I think that's what it is. And but I think to succeed in life, no matter where you're at, you have to go out there and move forward. You got to be able to fall off that step, get up, and do it again. And that's part what I enjoy when I get a chance to work with some of the Special Olympians. I was given a gift to be an honorary chairman one day, and I spoke at Soldier Field, and I remember I was trying to get everybody to go whoo, 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 you know, get loud rocking, and that was fun, and it was a great response from everybody. So I'm a good motivator. I travel the world and I do motivational speaking. I have fun, I meet great people, and I'm not afraid to make a mistake because I'm going to learn from it.
See, I met a lot of famous sports players. I met Frank Thomas, Brett Morrell from the White Sox last year.
Frank Thomas? Who's Frank Thomas? No, I'm just kidding. You know, good teammate, very quiet. You're very lucky because most people in life don't get to meet celebrities at all. They kind of just go with their family and their close friends. It's nice. Everybody's the same way. Nobody's bigger than anybody else. We're here to make a statement in life, protect ourselves, and enjoy it. And I can't stress enough about what fun it is. You got to have fun. If you don't have fun, I don't do it.
Now, Ryan, thank you for coming on the show. But before you go, I have a thing that you would like to have you sign.
I can sign it. I see you got one of my game bats down there.
It was given to a 7-year-old kid when you cracked it.
And he's probably like 100 years old now. I mean, he's probably that old, but I'll greatly sign it for him. And I saw the letter that he wrote. So thank you very much, and that's a great honor and great being here. And I thank you.
And welcome. I'm glad to interview you today.
Thank you very much.
Again, I'm Mark Hopp, and I want to again thank Mr. Kittle for coming, showing up the book that I have in my hand and what his life is. So thank you for joining.